Yo, guys, welcome back to the 315 Sports Podcast. Thank you so much for all the views and likes on our last episode that ended up being our biggest episode. So we hope to continue that here today. We're going to start off listing our top five Syracuse players in our lifetime. So although Carmelo, Donovan McNabb, people like that, they played in when we were alive, we don't fully remember that era. That was when we were still babies. So we're just gonna go somewhat based off like middle school to now or elementary school to now, things to remember. And then after that, I'm just gonna give you some of the best restaurants in Syracuse. Some people think Syracuse does not have good restaurants. Other people do.
That's
We'll get to that
false.
later. So we'll start with Gib. If you have any honorable mentions, you can name them.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, like Carmelo, some other guys on the. I mean, I don't know. I think there's just too many guys to list. Like Cooney went to two Final Fours, and he's not on my list. A lot of basketball players had just great careers at Syracuse, but just they're not on my list. So those are the two that come off the top of my head: Melo and Trev, because Trev was my favorite.
Some guys on my honorable mention would be Paul Harris. He was part of those late Syracuse 2010s team or 2000 team. And then Chandler Jones, Jerry McNamara, and I put Riley Dixon on here, greatest punter. Maybe Sterling passes him, but
Yeah, a few guys on my honorable mention are Andy Routens. Dude had a gat from three. Tyler Ennis, Rakeem Christmas. I could have put a lot of guys at my number 5 spot, especially, from the basketball teams in the past. But.
Yeah. We'll talk about Christmas a little bit, but honorable mentions for me, like we already said, Andy Routens. I'd throw if we're talking about them, obviously Melo going there, but we're just really young when he played. Akeem Warwick, guys like that. Lorenzo Nwaku could have made my list. Love watching him play. Rick Jackson. I sure love my big men. But yeah, those are definitely some honorable mentions that easily could have made my list. And Alton Robinson. I'm a big Alton Robinson guy. I don't care if it's just a recent thing. I love the way he plays.
All right, I think I'm going first. So for my number 5, I'm starting off with a recent guy, and that has to go to Andre Cisco. He was the first ever Syracuse player to be a first-team All-American as a freshman, and then make the first-team All-American unanimously, like as the all-freshman team. He's the active leader in interceptions right now in the FBS. Probably going to be a first-round pick in the NFL. And this is definitely some like recent bias, but I mean he's by far probably the best defender I've ever watched play at Syracuse. Him and Chandler Jones and Allen Robinson and Zaire Franklin and Kendall Coleman, all those guys were dogs. Shamarko Thomas, but I think Cisco's the best out of all of them, and that's why I'm putting Cisco at number 5 on my list.
yep, I would have put him in my honorable mentions too. But at 5, I have James Sutherland. A lot of people forget this guy had the wettest jump shot of all time. That arc on his threes it would always go in. He dropped like 40 against Arkansas. I still remember watching that game.
I remember that too.
Number 43, very unique number, and he was part of those pretty good Q's teams that just never got it done, which seems to be the story of Syracuse sometimes, never getting done. But I'm if I remember correctly, he one time came to Jamesville DeWitt Middle School. I feel like that's a thing that happened. I don't recall if it actually did, but I'm pretty sure he did show up.
I remember that. At number 5, I got a guy I've talked about on a episode before. That is Johnny Flynn. Johnny Flynn was so much fun to watch, so explosive. He was awesome. He played 2 seasons here at Q's. He averaged about like 16 points, which is why, the T-Wolves took him pretty high up in the draft. Like I said before, I had guys like Curry and DeMar DeRozan. I wish his career wasn't cut so short because of the injuries. But he didn't accomplish too much at, Syracuse. But he did go to the Sweet 16 in his sophomore season. But they ended up losing to Blake Griffin in Oklahoma. But, this is a guy I just had to put on my list because I idolized him growing up,
Yeah, I'm right with you, Shane. Number 5, we got Johnny, the man Flynn, electric player. I think Johnny Flynn was arguably the guy to start off the electric scoring, explosive point guard chain at Cuse as far as the last about 10 years. You got guys like John Gillen, Tyler Ennis, himself, like Johnny Flynn, Benajay, you could say was a point guard, brought the ball. We were lucky to have very good point guards for 4, 5, 6 guys in a row, and that was something that really was the bread and butter for Cuse for years. And I loved watching Johnny play. I know we were really young when he played, but I just remember I was probably late elementary school.
Yeah,
Middle
probably like
school.
third, fourth, fifth grade.
Yeah, and that was and he was awesome, and I felt like those Big East games were just so fun to watch. I loved watching Big East basketball. It's like one of my favorite things to do when I was younger, even if it wasn't a Cuse game, just because it was so competitive. And Johnny Flynn's easy number 5 pick for me.
Yeah, so at number 4, I got C.J. Fair. I mean, he sacrificed probably a lot of money to come back to play at Syracuse his senior year, where he didn't have as good as I think as everyone thought he was going to have. He still played very well, but he would have been an easy first-round draft pick if you looked at for his junior year. So I think it kind of hurt himself, but he was awesome. 4 years, 4 very productive years. Brought Syracuse to one Final Four. Yeah, his junior year they went to the Final Four and lost to Michigan because then he came back the year after. He should have left after that year. But he was awesome, great player. I'll never forget the picture of him after they were playing that tournament in Hawaii. He dunked on the guy from Minnesota, got punched in the face, and there was blood coming out of his eye. And then they ended up winning that tournament. But he was probably one of my favorite players to watch when Syracuse was like every year top 10 in the country. And, best team in the Big East pretty much.
At 4, I have a guy we just talked about, Johnny Flynn. Like one of the best point guards in Syracuse history. That dunk against Rutgers always comes up on the timeline on Twitter or Instagram when they're talking about Syracuse sports. Once again, Shane said, he was drafted pretty high, which looks like a bad pick now because Curry went after him. But I mean, his first season was like very, very good, and they just continued. The Timberwolves continued to play him even though he had an injury, and we saw what happened. So I mean, he could have been very good in the NBA. So had to throw him on the list.
Yeah, number 4, I got a Cuse legend. Gib, I think you mentioned him in your honorable mention, but that is Trevor Cooney. Had to put Cooney on my top 5 list. One of the best 3-point shooters ever in Syracuse basketball history. 2 Final Fours in 2013, 2016. Ultimate competitor. He played here all 4 seasons, and I think he redshirted his freshman season.
Redshirted his first year, yeah. So then he was here for 5 years,
yeah.
And he started for 4 of them.
Yeah, but I loved watching Cooney play.
Yeah, Cooney was a dog. He was a dog, definitely.
This is our top 5 favorite. I'm not saying he's a top 5, but I loved watching him play.
He's our favorite, right? We're ranking our favorites. All right. It took me for a second. I was about ready to tell you shouldn't be on the podcast if we're putting Trevor Cooney over Johnny Flynn, but then again, it's our favorite, so it's we all have our favorites. Number 4, I know there's somebody probably could have been higher for me, but I had to have in my top 5. I got Rakeem Christmas. Right around when Rakeem was when I played big man. I loved watching him play as an old school guy, hard-nosed, physical, had some great post moves. I love that. One of my favorite was when we first joined the ACC. I was either his first or second season. He was playing against Jahil Okafor. Okafor was a man at Duke, and we were like, whoa, this dude's like all of us at lunch were saying how much better he was than Colin Towns when that take didn't end up going too well. But then we're like, dude, this dude's the man, and then Rock just gave him like 18 or 20 in the dome. We weren't that successful as his senior year when he was the man. We had Caleb Joseph, a point guard. Shout out Shane Alamode. But, Rock was the man, dude. I love watching him play. He was electric. He was probably that's probably my favorite 19-win season we've had. It's just we didn't have that deep of a team, but without him, we probably would win 11 games. It's the same thing if we didn't have Tyus Battle. It's like the same type of level of how valuable they are on the team. But Rock was awesome, man. I love watching him play.
All right, well, this is about favorites. I thought this was like the best. So, all right, I'm throwing Trevor Cooney on the list. Number 3, baby. Cooney was definitely my favorite Syracuse basketball player within the last 10 years. Other than the fact that he was white, because shout out to all the white people that play Division I college basketball. You guys are doing something special. He was a 3-point shooter, and he would launch threes left and right. Doesn't matter if he was cold or whatever. He was launching threes at all times. And when I played basketball and I just watched him launch threes, I was like, oh, that looks pretty sweet. I want to just launch threes too. But when you go back and look at it, Cooney was much more than just a 3-point shooter. He was the glue to the team really with Benajay when they went to the Final Four. It was really just them two, and then someone else would step up every game in the tournament. He was a really good defender, really good in the zone. I still remember a game against Boston College the year when they were 25-0 when they started that season. They were at Boston College, and they were losing in the second half. And on 4 straight possessions, Cooney stole a pass and then went down the court and dunked. Super athletic, great competitor, ultimate competitor, 2 Final Fours. I think he's the only player in Syracuse history that's ever done that. So, and he was my favorite player. So I love Trevor Cooney, and I had to put him. And if this is favorites, he's easily on the list.
I'm pretty sure Coleman was a freshman as well, so he went to 2 Final Fours. But
all right, well, Dajuan Coleman.
Dajuan Coleman has no competition with Trevor Cooney.
Well, let's for one, the year Dajuan graduated, Boeheim said at the SU banquet that if Dajuan hadn't been injured, he could have been one of the best.
He would have been.
Yeah, no.
But this is tough. Like, I feel like people give him a bad rep, but it's not necessarily on him. Like, he had bad knees and a bad back for 4 years. Like, it's tough to play college basketball. So I don't know. I feel bad because people give him a lot of shit for it. But I think Dajuan was still a good player for us, and he's still a starter. He just wasn't what he could have been.
Yeah, no, I was just acknowledging that he did go to 2, I'm pretty sure. At number 3, I have the only football guy on my list. I could have put some more, but I just thought this guy deserved it. Eric Dungy. Just
way too low.
Yeah, I know. I knew he was going to be number 1 on some people's list, but put him at number 3. Like, just electric to watch. Would put defenders on their ass or jump over them, whatever he wanted to do. Dual threat, could run, pass. Deserves a real chance in the league. I mean, he got picked up by the Giants and then dropped, and I think he's on the Browns practice squad or something, or he's in the XFL or something. I don't know what's happening with him now, but he deserves a shot. But I won't talk about him too much. I know Gib wants to talk about him, so.
All right, at number 3, I got another Syracuse legend, in my opinion. Another guy that played all 4 years for the basketball program. That's C.J. Fair. I feel like this is a guy that, he got better throughout his career. Every single year, he kept getting better and better. He went to that 2013 Final Four with MCW. And I know we all remember the iconic play versus Duke, where he goes in, hits the and-1. They call it a charge, and Boeheim rips off the jacket. But I had to put C.J. Fair on here. Now that I look at it, I might put C.J. Fair at 4 and Cooney at 3. But either way.
My number 3 spot, I got Mike Benajay. He could have been higher on my list looking back on it, but as long as Benajay was playing for us, he's a great transfer. Our transfer portal guys we get are sick. Benajay was a bucket for us. He's super competitive. I love the way he played. He was a complete dog. Well, he was when he was at Syracuse, we were winning, and that was awesome. And I think he was a big leader on that team, his junior, senior season. He could shoot the ball well, take it to the rack. I think he's the best version that Frank Howard could have ever been. As far as a passer, defender, and shooter, efficient in all of them. I just love watching him play. He's one of those guys that just he was a fan favorite in the Dome, just like Cooney. But Benajay was just a hell of a player, and he had to be on my list.
So at number 2, I'm going to go with Deion Waiters. He played here for 2 years, but his freshman year, I don't really remember it, but his sophomore year, he was unbelievable. He was probably other than Cooney, my favorite player to watch. Come off the bench, and he would just torch teams, absolutely torch teams. No one had an answer for him the whole year. If it wasn't for us running into Jared Stellinger in Ohio State, and if Fab Mel didn't get kicked off the team, we would have won the national championship that year. It's as clear cut as that. And Deion Waiters was the best player on that team, in my opinion, because MCW didn't become MCW until the year after. Waiters was the guy. He was awesome. As a 6-man, he gets drafted 4th overall in the NBA draft. That's all you need to know about how great he was. And he's put together a very solid NBA career. Bounced around a little bit when he was young, from Cleveland to OKC. And then he really, I think, found a spot in Miami, but then, he took an edible this year, and now, who knows what's going to happen to him now.
At 2, I have C.J. Fair, one of my favorite Syracuse players of all time, of course, as well as just one of the most iconic with that performance against Duke at the Dome in the sold-out crowd in 2014 against Jabari Parker, I'm pretty sure, was on that Duke team when went neck to neck with him. And C.J. Fair had a big bucket in overtime that got us the win, as well as that dunk versus Minnesota, once again, where he was bleeding. And in that picture, that slow-mo that showed, blood just dripping down his face was, scary to see, but it was also, kind of cool to see. But yeah, I mean, I had to put him at number 2. Couldn't put him ahead of number 1 because I think we all know who I have number 1.
All right, my number 2, this is my last basketball player, so it is my favorite Syracuse basketball player of all time, and that is Eric Diebendorf. You know, when this guy was playing in college, he was one of the most hated players, you know, in all of college. Absolute savage on the court, like amazing competitor, would do everything he can to win. He's also part of one of the most memorable Syracuse athletic moments of my entire life, which was the 6 overtime game against, you know, Kemba Walker and UConn. But at the end of regulation, you know, he catches the full court pass, you know, takes the 3 that doesn't count, hits it, jumps on the scorer's table, starts going wild. But I love watching this dude play, and I love guys like that who would just do anything to win. So he's easily my favorite Syracuse basketball player ever.
I like that take. And number 2, I have Darius Baisley. Just kidding, you waste of space. And number 2, I have Michael Carter-Williams. MCW, this isn't a hot take. This is just kind of my opinion. Was like our own little taste of a miniature Magic Johnson in college or Cuse for us Cuse boys. Big point guard, handled the ball well. Whenever he was playing, I felt like we could win the game. And there's only a few guys in Syracuse history, and only a couple that I was able to watch that, including our number 1, which should be everyone's number 1. That if they're playing in this game, I think we can beat anybody. And whenever Michael Carter-Williams stepped on the court for Syracuse, I thought we could beat any team in the country. I genuinely thought that. I think he had a good run at Cuse. I think it was kind of funny having him be under it was Scoop, right? Scoop was under Scoop his freshman year. But, you know, you got to play loyalty and do as we're doing. Scoop was a senior. Scoop could have made my list too, honestly. I love watching him play. It was fun.
All of them. Literally any player.
Any of them. And there's so many stuff because Syracuse basketball has so many good guys.
I mean, don't even mention Jeremy Grant in anything, and Jeremy Grant's probably the best player in the NBA right now that went to Syracuse.
Yeah.
I think right now he's better than Carmelo is.
Yeah, like I wanted to put Thomas Battle, Tyler Roberson. Like the list is endless. It's tough. These are just more guys.
Biden.
All right. Well, live. All right.
Pascal.
Yeah.
A big block.
Yeah. He had a big block. And
1 shoe.
he also had Mike Benichet and Malachi Richardson. Anyway, MCW number 2. Loved watching him play. Definitely deserves to be on my list, but number 1 was saved for a special man that's done a lot for Syracuse.
Yeah, I mean, number 1 is obvious who the number 1 is. But before I even say his beautiful name, I'm going to give a quick shout out to him because he just recently got engaged. I saw it on Instagram, so I know he's laying that pipe. So shout out Dungy again. But before I talk about Dungy, I'm going to talk about, so Syracuse football, as we all know, has pretty much sucked every year since been mediocre since we've been alive, which sucks. But I'm going to give a shout out to guys like Ryan Nassib, Justin Pugh, Chandler Jones, Shamarko, Philip Thomas, all those guys that played under Marone and gave us a taste of what it was like to be, relevant in football again. I mean, Ryan Nassib, Prince Tyson Gully, Jerome Smith, all those guys, Terrell Hunt, they were all awesome to watch. I mean, going 6-6 every couple of years and then going to a bowl game was like the highlight of my early life. It was so much fun watching them play in a bowl game. I remember their first bowl game they had in 15 or 10 or 11 years was when they played Kansas State in the Pinstripe Bowl, and it was snowing out, and it was awesome, and they won. The list can go on for all those guys that went through the really hard times under Greg Robinson, and then under Schaefer again for guys like Zaire Franklin and Paris Bennett and Steve Ishmael and Irv Phillips. But number 1, no question, the greatest quarterback that has ever played at Syracuse, in my opinion, is Eric Dungy. Broke the school's all-purpose in college. He's not a pro quarterback. He is the definition of a perfect college quarterback that Syracuse has had. He is the ultimate competitor. He is the ultimate teammate. He's the ultimate leader. He is the only guy I'd ever want to watch. If there was one guy I could ever watch play another game in orange and blue, it'd be Dungy. Dude was a dog. For 4 years, he battled through injury, concussion, shitty teams, bad coaching decisions, other players getting hurt on his team, bad offensive line, having basically no running back his first couple of years at Syracuse. And all he did was produce and make plays and definitely jam himself not only on top of all Syracuse stat records, but into the hearts of all fans. And then in his senior year swan song, he did something that I thought was unimaginable, and that was to jack Syracuse in the top 25, beat a couple ranked teams, basically push Clemson to the brink in Clemson, should have beat them. And we won a bowl game and went 10-3. We had a 10-win season, which is unbelievable that he was the quarterback to do it. after all these other guys, Tommy DeVito's this, Tommy DeVito that. Drew Allen, the guy we got from Oklahoma, he fucking sucked. I mean, Dungy did what basically no other quarterback has even came close to do since Donovan McNabb was Syracuse's quarterback. And he's my favorite football player ever. He was probably the most underappreciated star we've ever had in college football, probably in the last 10 or 15 years, just because of where he went to school. If he was at a different school, we definitely would have been hearing way more about him. But shout out Dungy, he's my favorite player, and nothing else to say. He's definitely the best athlete that's been at Syracuse since we've been alive.
I can see that, but at number one, I do have my favorite Syracuse basketball player of all time, Jesse Edwards. No, fuck Jesse Edwards. He should leave the team right now. My Deion Waiters, somehow a sixth man, but he played his role and showed that he was the top 5 player in the country, and got drafted 4th by the Cavs. Not a good scenario for him, but he still balled out. I remember him breaking, was it like Tim Hardaway Jr.'s ankles in like the World versus USA game or some shit like that, or East-West or some shit like that, and we already knew what he was going to be. Hit several game winners, and I wish he found a good team to play for. He's on the Lakers right now, but he isn't getting any play time. We know his suspensions and all that kind of hurt him, but he was fun to watch.
All right, I got my first football player. We all know all-time passing yards leader, Syracuse history, Eric Dungy. Gibby, to be honest, you basically covered everything here with this guy. He's a guy play with a passion. He goes out every single game, plays 100%, battling through injury. Just an awesome competitor. And of course, 2018, he put Syracuse on the map, wins 10 games, and of course, that was my brother's first season playing for Syracuse. So I was really locked in that season, of course, going to all the games, and I was lucky enough to go to Orlando, down to the bowl game and watch. So I'm a little biased here because, of course, he helped my brother have an awesome experience for his first year in college and, for his first year as being part of the team. But I think this was a key pick here. Like I said, underappreciated guy. Awesome person on and off the field. He's an easy choice for my number one. There's a lot more to be said there, but Gib, you basically covered everything. Like what he.
I couldn't even speak because there was just so much. I could go on for an hour talking about Eric Dungy, so I couldn't even get words out sometimes because that's how impressive and important he was.
Of course, to round it out, of course, I had Dungy. You guys covered it pretty well. I think the only thing I want to talk about was growing up playing football at JD, and even since you're a little kid, and everybody that's invested in Syracuse football. Like Gib talked about, it was kind of a struggle, but we were always there, and we were it felt like right after Marone, we were right on the cusp, and then with Schaefer just kind of steps backwards. We still appreciate him; he's a great guy, just didn't get the job done. But Dino comes in, and there's some hope, and then we have a quarterback that's electric. And my main thing about Dungy is the fact that I love quarterbacks that run the ball, just as he's playing offensive line. And Dungy is one of the only college quarterbacks. And a lot of guys like to run in college. It's very, very common. But you're not going to see this out of a premier elite level talent like Dungy that will run through you. He was a football player playing quarterback, and I love that. If he needed to go out there and play middle linebacker for a snap, he would do it in a heartbeat for Dino and for Syracuse ever. And you're not going to see that out of a lot of quarterbacks. He would do anything to win a game, and he would just put his head down. 33 total touchdowns, 15 of them on the ground his senior year. For Syracuse, that meant the world to me. And to see them win 10 games like Gib talked about, it just felt like it's such a step in the right direction and something that we've been waiting for forever, especially our senior year in high school.
Yeah.
It was just we're such a blessing. And, we finished the year, was it 15 or 14?
I think we were 13th when it was
13. Yeah, you're not going to I hope we get back on top soon, but we probably won't see that for a while. We got to cherish the fact that Dungy got us there, and that was really on his shoulders and his playmaking throughout the season.
Yeah, so the last thing I'll say about Dungy is I've been a season ticket holder, as most of these guys have, know that I've been a season ticket holder basically since I was 5. I've been to every home game since I was 5. And just like I've said before, watching just the absolute struggle of offense, because to be honest, Syracuse, even under Schaefer, the defense wasn't the issue. It was the offense. The offense could never score. And then they bring Dungy in, and the first week of the first game he started against Wake Forest, he got knocked out by some cocksucker on Wake Forest. Comes back, gets knocked out against Central Michigan. Every year it seemed like every game he was getting hurt. Then against Virginia, he hurdles a guy over Virginia, gets fucking clocked in the head, concussion, but he still played the whole game. I mean, he's just special. It means, I think, if you're as invested in Syracuse football as I know I am, and I know Tarky is, shout out Tarky, like he meant the absolute world to us. And Syracuse, I don't think is ever going to be as good as they were unless if they get another quarterback like Dungy, but I don't think they ever can because he's a 1 in a million type of guy. Like Steve said, he'd run people over. I mean, there's that picture against Boston College, some linebacker on the goal line. He lowers his shoulder, and the linebacker's on the ground, like looking up at him, and he's in the end zone. He's just a special. And his trash talk too. I mean, that just showed how much he cared. He would have fought the whole fucking University of Miami when we were down there playing them if he had to.
Yeah, when he threw the interception, then
threw an interception and stripped it from the guy he threw it to. He stripped the guy he threw it to, and we got the ball back. I mean, that's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But I'm done with Dungy.
Yeah, do you want to talk about your number one restaurant right now?
Yeah, sure. So my favorite restaurant, I think, in Syracuse is easily Tully's. I mean, their food might not be as good as some of the other restaurants will list, but it's not the food. It's just every time you go there, you're getting the same thing every time. You know what you're getting every time you go, and it's good every time you go. You're there with your friends. You're there watching sports games. You're there shooting the shit with whoever. I mean, basically, we were there, I don't know, 2 Fridays or Saturdays every month, every year we were in high school. So, I mean, you can't beat Tully's like as a whole thing. I don't think it's even debatable.
Correct.
Yeah, once I got to college, I had to introduce all the new kids to Tully's tenders, and they instantly fell in love. So, Tully tenders are the greatest thing on earth. Tully's restaurant vibes are the best thing on earth. You go there with your friends basically every weekend. I know me and Shane used to go like every weekend over the summer. And yeah, it's the best, maybe not best food overall, but best vibes and place to go, like spend time with your friends. So had to put it at 1.
Of course, I got told
I'm
about
sorry.
that.
Are we naming more than one a restaurant? Or are we just gonna go 1?
Let me just talk about Tully's for a little, all right?
Yeah, we'll rattle off some like
All
one
right,
by
yeah,
one.
that's fine.
Tully's needs
We're all
to
gonna have the same one, but yeah, I'm gonna.
We all got Tully's on our list, but we grew up going to Tully's. Like whether it was to watch a big game, whether it was after we played a big game, or just to fuck around and have fun and eat good food with our friends. Like Tully's is an all-time classic, of course. Like Tim, you were saying, me and you were going there every weekend in the summer. Me and Steve were going there after every single CYO basketball game in the winter. And I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating. We went just about every
game. It didn't matter.
Practices too. Like Tully's. If you live in Syracuse and Tully's isn't on your all-time restaurant,
if Tully's isn't 1 or 2 on your top 2 food places in Syracuse, you're doing something wrong.
You don't deserve to live in Syracuse if you don't think that Tully's.
There are people out there that think the distillery is better.
First of all, the distillery is not native to Syracuse. It's like started in like Rochester.
Started in Rochester. It's a Rochester. Yeah. Go live in Rochester. If you think distillery's better than Tully's, go live in Rochester. They'll be happy to have you, but you cannot live here. I'm sorry. Tully's. Is my turn. All right, yeah. I have so much pride. After I don't know where to put it. Like I've probably been to Tully's, which each of you guys and 30 others, probably 30 plus times. Like legitimately, probably 4 of us together have probably gone 20 plus times. Like it's the same company. Like not even, and then in different combinations. Like the tenders at Tully's we grew up on. Like I remember moments of Tully's that were some of the best moments of my life. Like Syracuse, like the Bills about 2012, 3-0. Patriots go to the new era. We spanked Tom Brady. Color Sports Illustrated 4-0. AFC East Division 1, or number 1 Buffalo Bills. I remember being at Tully's for that with a bunch of Bills fans. I remember being there for March Madness. I remember being interviewed and having that awkward interview with that lady about how we go to Tully's every year for March Madness, which wasn't really true, but like, you know what I mean? Like Tully's grew up with us like it was like a dog in our family. Like when we were younger, we grew up with a dog. Like, Tully's was our dog. Like that was what all of us grew up with since we were like 9 years old. And it got better as we got older. During this quarantine, my family, and usually me just getting it, has gotten Tully's 2 times at least every single week. Like, my Easter dinner this year was Tully's tenders, and I not think of something I'd rather have for Easter dinner. So I don't know how much more I have to say about Tully's. I love Tully's. This is like, everyone can be biased towards something, but the correct answer for the best restaurant in Syracuse, and maybe the best thing in Syracuse, is Tully's. It's on Erie Boulevard. It's not far, and they'll take care of you every time. So yeah,
and it's not even like it's like so. Like, there's plenty of food I'd rather eat than a chicken tender, but I will go out of my way to go to Tully's when I'm here for a weekend. Like, if I'm here for 2 days and I have to go back to school, I will make it a priority to eat at Tully's before I leave and go back to Mercy, because there is nothing even close that will compare to Tully's. Like, I can get a bowl of pasta anywhere. It doesn't matter how good it is. Yeah. Pasta's good no matter where you go. 100%. But that elite of a chicken tender is not found in anywhere else other than Tully's.
Yeah, when I was moving into Syracuse, I had come to the realization that I wouldn't be able to go to Tully's every night as I had so done in the summer. So mid-moving, my dad told me to go to the car, and, we ate some chicken tenders at Tully's. We just left everything, door wide open. We went, me and him, ate some tenders, had a great time.
Like,
sat right next to Dino. Dino was there at the same time as us, said hello. And yeah, it
like, you hear kids in fucking in fucking Wisconsin, like, grow up with we grew up with a chicken tender in our hand. Like, it's the same. It's like the same type of thing.
Same thing. Yeah. I go. I'm sorry, Shane. One sec. I go with my friend. I go to SUNY Cortland, like, football. Fuck it, go all 9 yards. We go once a week to Tully's. Like, me and my closest friends, once a week, come back for Tully's. It's like an 1.5-hour trip total, and none of them question it, and it's worth it every time. And it's like that. It's a religion to me. I'd spend once a week while I'm at college, while I'm home, my entire life, and it's going to stay that. I can't move out of Syracuse because they don't have my Tully's where I might go somewhere else. So,
even though there's a Tully's like in Rochester and in
Binghamton, they're good.
it's not your Tully's.
All of them but one.
Yeah,
like, I've literally checked them off. I have a list in my room. Like, go ahead, Shane.
I mean, everyone that lives here already knows, how good Tully's is, and of course, with everything going on, we can't eat out at the restaurants, but you can go pick up food. And the Tully's parking lot is still popping. Like, people are still going.
I was there yesterday. It was popping.
A lot of people are still going there picking up food. Like, it's crazy. Steve, I saw your story. I think it was your story.
Yeah, I waited half an hour outside Tully's restaurant for my to-go order, like, the day before Easter, and then I got it again on Easter.
It's crazy.
But Tully's is great, and it is number one, and it's rightfully number one. But there are other restaurants in Syracuse.
There are.
Chicken tenders aren't your thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why they wouldn't be your thing, because it's a fried piece of chicken, which is like the greatest thing ever.
Correct.
Comes in 3 different flavors too: original, buffalo, and Asian. But if you don't want to eat that, obviously Dinosaur Barbecue is another big one in Syracuse.
Yep.
But being from an Italian family, I ate a lot of pasta, like I said, and probably the best place to get Italian food is Angotti's. Shout out Tyson. Angotti's is on Burnett Ave, a little bit further down. If you know where DeGiulio's, DeGiulio's so much more than an Army. That place, it's right near that. You go down Burnett Ave a little bit more. Very good.
That's good.
It's kind of a small restaurant, but they have kick-ass food. Shout out Tyson. I know Tyson likes Angotti's. And then another classic Syracuse restaurant, more known for their pizza, is Twin Trees. There's a couple locations all over the place now. I know there's one at East Syracuse that's just pizza, but if you go to the original one on the west side, it's like a sit-down restaurant, and they got plenty of food that's very good.
Yeah, I also got a Dinosaur Barbecue on the list, and as well as what Gibbs said, another good Italian restaurant would be Dominic's. The location is slipping my mind. It's right off the highway.
It's a little bit. It's closer. Like, Angotti's is more in like the almost on the north side, and Dominic's is like basically right off the highway. It's like right next to the Brooklyn Pickle. If you go, Brooklyn Pickle, another great.
Brooklyn Pickle could be on there too. Yeah.
So you gotta include Dominic's on the list. I go there for every New Year's Eve dinner with the family before I go out. But I mean, you could view this as like a restaurant, but you also got to throw in the diners. The early mornings with the family. Stella's, fantastic, fantastic. Good prices, good service. They serve you with a smile. You get a nice portion.
Like, there's good food everywhere, but like Syracuse, like Tully's and Dinosaur Barbecue are like two of the best restaurants in America, in my opinion.
100%.
And the Dinosaur Barbecue.
That is correct. There's no opinion. That's correct, Gabe. You're right.
All right, am I up now?
Yes, just had to rave about Stella's.
I had Dinosaur Barbecue on my list too, but another restaurant I want to talk about is Varsity. Awesome pizza, awesome wings,
True.
absolute classic right there on campus, at Syracuse, Marshall Street. But the thing about Varsity for me is like it's so classic. My dad went to Syracuse, and when you go in the back and like the dude making the sandwiches and shit, like it's when my dad was a student at Syracuse, he would always go to Varsity to get food, and it's the same exact guy working back there.
Yeah.
So it's crazy because now I'm going there with my dad, and now I'm the student at Syracuse, and the same dude is making me food. Like it's awesome to me.
Yeah.
But I also think, to me, Steve, I don't know about you, so don't freak out. But I think they have the best wings in Syracuse. They're my
Her wings
favorite.
are actually really good. I was
Classic
surprised when I had them.
wing.
They were fucking good.
But
Varsity wings are the best wings in Syracuse. I agree with that. That's going to be that's literally one of the bullets I made.
all right, thank God.
Completely agree. I'm not going to go off any of that because that's correct. I eat out too much, but I love eating. It's like one of my favorite things ever. And to piggyback back off that, I grew up going to Varsity every week. I used to in the spring after opening day, my dad and I would try to catch every game Monday to Friday at Varsity at 7:00. So we just get out of work. I'd get out of like after school stuff, and we just go there. I grew up there, like she was talking about. Love the wings. It's this big guy in the back. He makes a great hobo sub. Like he knows you when you walk in. It's a loyal place. Eric is the manager there. Great guy. I don't know how much more to say. I grew up on Varsity. It's still something I try to hit once every week or two. Even if I go by myself, I love going there. I love hitting it. It's a great place. And I'm glad Shane gets to have as much as he can now. Now he's at Cuse. But another place, Dinosaur Barbecue. Great. They changed. All right, one nitpick, because I went to Dinosaur about 3 weeks ago, or whenever the quarantine, like right before it started. And they changed the baked beans. Like, all right, I'm not a big baked beans guy, but the old baked beans at Dinosaur used to hit different. Like they were like, I would go to Tops and get the own can of Dinosaur baked beans. And I'd be like, I'll make it. I don't make a lot of food. I'm making this in like 20 minutes. Like I would just stop grocery shop and go home and make them. The new ones, if anyone from Dinosaur is listening, please go back to the old recipe. It's not the same. Like your mac and cheese slaps, ribs slap, burger slaps, fries slap, anything barbecue slaps. But the mac and the baked beans, we miss them. We all do.
Yeah, and shout out to one last place, a little late night action, good old Keys makes the best 2 p.m. or 2 in the morning pizza you've ever had in your life.
It's cardboard pizza ever.
But if you actually another, a big time late night spot is good old Wings Over, right over next to Kinney Drugs. That place is elite at 1 in the morning, if you ask me. It's probably the best restaurant ever at 1 in the morning.
Yes. Yeah, you can't eat it at like 4 in the afternoon.
No.
Then it's not gonna taste as well. Couple places, Limp Lizard, also a lot like out in Liverpool. Also
Limp
a lot
Lizard.
another location too. I think there's also it depends what you get.
Yeah,
never get Limp Lizard catered. As soon as I heard the baseball team was going there, I knew you wouldn't like it half as much as it actually does if you go in with 2 of us. Because I got it catered before.
That's actually true.
For like my
I'm sure you're right.
11th birthday or some shit like that, and it didn't hit as good as I did when it's in the restaurant. So that's point number 1. 2, it's not as good as Dinosaur. It's not like number 5 on my list. Number 4 is Blarney Stone. Actually, the best wins. That's not technically in like it's like more outside of Syracuse, but like it's over by the Boys and Girls Club, still in the 315. Those wings are better than Varsity, but it's not as often. And Varsity hits a little bit like I like it more because I've always gone there. So second best wing shop is Blarney Stone. Definitely hit it if you haven't hit it before. Irish pub, it's great. And for anyone that doesn't think Syracuse food is good, you haven't gone to these places enough to realize that you either 1, can't taste food, or 2, you're stupid as fuck. Like those are the 2 options, and that's all you have. But that's I will argue about eating.
If you want some good ice cream, I think we also have some great Gannon. People don't know about
great. Snow Top is great. They're all great. I mean, you can't really get up ice cream. It's like the hardest thing to do.
She's just been doing a pretty good job, adding some places too. Like we just in Marshall Plaza, especially, we got the Smoothie King, the Glazed Pizza, the Jersey Mike's, elite.
Jersey Mike's,
Philly cheesesteak, fire.
Beautiful.
Erie, like I know it's a lot of chains, but I'm also a big distillery guy. I mean, I'm not going to discredit it. I like it a lot.
I like it too. Yeah.
Like me and Shane have gone there a couple times. I've seen Shane's there while I've gone a couple times. It's good. It's good. And their wings are also good there. They have Sunday deals. So I'm not going to talk down distillery. It's just not Tully's.
Oh, and if you want to talk about deals, Trappers Wednesday wing night, 40-cent wings. I mean, you can't really beat that.
I couldn't believe I forgot.
Steve gets 20 wings for $8. I mean, like,
yeah,
20 wings for $8. I mean, come on.
That's like
Unreal.
That's 40 wings for $16.
Yeah.
Like, come on. But yeah, food in Syracuse is great. Definitely recommend. There's some sleeper places.
Oh,
There's-
like Acropolis
place-
at 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's
There's
dope.
this one place I don't know what it's called. It's a steakhouse, and it's really, really good. And it's like it's out like towards the state fair, and it's like in a hotel. It's like part of a hotel.
Oh my god, I think I know what you're
It's so good. It is ridiculously good. It's tiny. It's like as big as the room I'm in right now. But the food is fucking great. I just don't know what it's called. I've been there once, and I went there last summer, and it was awesome.
Another great place, Korean buffet. Shout out Tarky, Kin, and Ben Fish.
Yeah, and if we're going to go through Syracuse places, I know we're not really naming chains, but I have to name this place because it's part of my religion at this point. Taco Bell on Erie Boulevard has served probably over 5,000 meals to me in the last 2 years. It was like before practice, after.
Someone do the math on that.
And I don't want to do the math either, but it was like a 2-day thing at one point. Like it hit different. Like it used to be like, oh, we're going to Tully's. I'll stop at Taco Bell first and then meet you guys there.
Yeah,
Like
that actually did happen. Quite a
yeah,
bit.
no, it's happened. You guys have seen me happen before. Like when I had my freshman year, I was about 180, and I was going to get brought up varsity to play offensive line. So I was like, oh, I'll put on like 30 pounds. Well, 30 turned into 60 after I got a license to start going to Taco Bell. Like it was just that. It got bad, but it was great, and I still love Taco Bell for them. Shout out all my girls there working.
Also, shout out Bull and Bear, the original Bull and Bear. There is one correct answer of Bull and Bear, and it's the one in East Syracuse.
Yes.
The one in Fayetteville stinks. The food does not taste as good.
It's not the same. It's not the
Oh,
same.
and also
Only better
the
than
last shout out has to go to Wegmans.
Yeah, I was just about to say Wegmans.
Well,
I mean, not really a restaurant, but they have so much food
Burger bar
available
too.
to sit down and eat with. The burger bar, you got the taco bar or whatever, all that stuff. The pizza.
There's so many restaurants.
Not the best.
Like,
Pizza.
like,
Wegmans
there's
pizza
so
isn't
many
the best.
restaurants that I like in Syracuse. Like anywhere you go, I mean, there's a lot of restaurants, but like Steve said, the Syracuse ones do hit different.
They do it different. And if you go on to Erie Boulevard and you have $20, there are countless options.
Oh, the options are limitless. There's limitless options.
You want a
But
burger?
there's a number one.
Five Guys, McDonald's, distillery. The combinations are endless. With $10, you can get 2 Popeyes chicken sandwiches, a beefy fritter burrito, and a large water. And I've done that probably 20 times. It's a great deal.
Like I've been to, like
Popeye's chicken sandwich is horrible.
Go to hell. All right, go ahead.
like there's like every most cities have their Erie Boulevard, but Syracuse Erie Boulevard is set up because there's no other, like I don't need a Target. I can go somewhere else for Target. Binghamton, because Binghamton a lot. They have Vestal Parkway. The Binghamton University's on there. I don't give a shit. Like I just want restaurant.
100%.
I don't need a Target. I don't need a Best Buy. Fuck that shit. I want food. That's what it is. Syracuse. Food. It's all it is. It's food.
Couldn't have said it better.
I already know it's gonna be a clip.
No, that's perfect. That is perfect. That's Gibby. You did not say it any better. What do we need to survive? Food. What does Syracuse have that's great? Food. You go down to Erie, you will have a good. I have not had that many bad days where I've driven on Erie Boulevard with $20 in my pocket. Like I'm telling you that.
And then there's another Erie Boulevard on the west side of Syracuse, which is West Genesee Street, where there's the other Tully's, and it's Tully's, fucking all those other places over there.
Like if you are driving past Carvel and you keep going straight. You make that left turn onto that.
You know.
Off with Chili's. Chili's is right there. Scotch and sirloin. Didn't even name it.
I forgot about the Scotch.
Great place to eat. Then you have Shopping Town Mall, but then it just food. Like Friendly's closed, but whatever. Friendly's. You got Dibello's off to the right when you want to turn. If you feel like turning, you can keep going for miles. Food.
Did you say it was trash?
Bello's trash.
Yeah, Jersey Mike's way better. I was a big Bello's guy, but Jersey Mike's is way better.
Jersey Mike's is good. I'll give you that.
Yeah, Jersey Mike's right off.
The Cowboys good,
off
but
it
chicken's
or
good.
on it.
Other sandwiches aren't as good. But yes.
We named Taco Bell as one of the better restaurants in
It's not better. It's not better. No. Don't dare try that bullshit. No. Taco Bell is just somewhere I really like because it's very affordable. And it's like a nice appetizer to like a Tully's or a distillery. Or a dessert sometimes if you didn't get full enough. But it's not one of the better places in Syracuse.
There are 2 McDonald's within a mile on Erie Boulevard.
Yeah.
There are 2.
The one further
so when the
down
ice
is
cream
low.
machine is down at 1, you hit up the other
You
one.
just go down to the other.
Yeah, the second
Don't
one.
go to, if you have the choice, you don't go to the play place. You don't go to the play place. You go
For
to the
people
other.
who know me, they know I don't like anything on my burger. One time I did go to the McDonald's drive-thru. I
The
said,
play
"Can I
place
get a
McDonald's or the new McDonald's across the
play
street from Price
place?
Shop?
Play place."
Oh, well, yeah.
I said, "Can I get a burger with nothing on it?" They gave me a plastic box with a burger, no bun, no nothing, just in a plastic box, cold as fuck. That pissed me off. I haven't returned since. I go to the other McDonald's, even though it's a little further, a little more gas money. Gas is down. Gas prices are down. It's fine to go. But I don't go to that McDonald's anymore.
Yeah, dude. If you ask for a Zakaya McChicken, he'll take a dread off for you. He'll throw it on there. It's the best deal in the boulevard. But honestly, guys, Syracuse food hits different. And I'll argue that till the day I die. Like,
we didn't even say possibilities.
Well, yeah, possibilities. This possibility. Shut the fuck up. That's if you want real Italian food, I will give you countless restaurants for real Italian food. Possibilities is very good, but it's like the millennial Italian restaurant. No.
It's like the classy I want to go
true Italian restaurant.
You got to name a Syracuse classic, Brewer Bagels.
Yeah.
Oh, I brought friends there like a month into college, and they had never had a bagel so good.
Yeah, Mother's Cupboard, amazing.
Another restaurant or diner.
And they make everything from scratch.
You know it's a good restaurant when Man vs. Food went there.
Oh, Hyde's.
Also, bodied that fajita. It's not that hard. He was dragging it 100%. It was delicious.
The Hyde's in Liverpool, and it's a little bit out of the way for us over in DeWitt and Jamesville. But if you go to
Lights on the Lake, it's right there.
Yeah.
If you ever go to Lights on the Lake, Hyde's is right there.
Lights on the Lake is the biggest ripoff, though, in the history of man. You drive down
I hate going there.
A half-mile path, and there's Christmas lights on each side of your window. I mean, and you pay like $20. Like, oh, shit, that was fun.
Yeah, it's the best thing when you're 7, and then when you want to pay for it, it's the last place you want to go.
Because it's like $20 per car.
Yeah.
I still think the one place I eat at the most in Syracuse is Chipotle. But Steve, I know yours.
You gotta keep in mind, I used to go to TGI Fridays like it was a religion when it was in Shoppingtown Mall. Like it was Syracuse basketball. I'll be at TGI Fridays and put it in. It was endless apps. I can't, bro. I'm getting emotional. Endless apps. I can't even do it, bro. The endless apps was one of the best parts in my entire life. Like endless. We used to go to Shoppingtown. If you had $12, because that way you tip them $2, $10 endless apps. You could go watch a Yankee game. Or any team you like, no bias. A baseball game, an SU basketball game, and then when it's on, like a fight after. All at TJ Fridays. It would be the best 3 hours of your month. And I can't even get into it, dude. Endless apps, great deal.
But another, Shoppingtown isn't the same as it was even 2 years ago when we thought there was nothing in there.
Yeah.
But Doc's Pizza in Shoppingtown, it's actually pretty good for a mall pizza.
They used to have pavones in there,
Yeah,
it used to be
we didn't mention
Shoppingtown Mall.
It's
the top 5 mall of all time.
OIP's good. Yeah, OIP is very good.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. We're just talking and we're realizing more and more places as you go on. If you live out in the fucking sticks, I love Cortland, till I die. I love all you guys, but there's 3 places to eat and everyone knows them and everyone's always there. And shout out my girl over at the diner over by Cortland. I'll be back soon. But the thing is, when you talk about Syracuse, the list is endless.
Oh no! The list is there's the list that the paper keeps extending on the list.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop.
Eggplant. Eggplant's a great we could walk to Eggplant right now.
Yeah, the beauty of where we live is that we're in a good mile radius.
Or me and Gib are more or better located towards near the food, but Steve is still 3 minutes away from.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, and
we can just walk.
I hit varsity a lot too, because
right
it's kind of closer to my house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this list is just it's easy to make. Real quick PSA: the KFC chicken deal just came out with a popcorn chicken deal for quarantine.
Please listen. This is important.
This will change your day, as Murphy would like to say. The KFC had just came out
Oh,
with
I said
double
that.
XL. Yeah,
I said that too, Murphy.
Double XL chicken popcorn chicken deal is $10. It's supposed to feed up to four plus people. I'm sorry, this is just getting tough for me to say. It was $10. I tried it 2 days ago. This is the worst deal you'll ever find in your life. It says up to 70 popcorn nuggets. I counted 31, and they were tiny, bro. After like 8, I'm like, all right, maybe it gets bigger. Like, no. With $10 on the Boulevard, you get 2 Popeyes chicken sandwiches and beef frito burrito. That's 10 beefy frito burritos with $10. You can get a Tully's tender appetizer. Like, I can't even do it, bro. KFC, you need to fucking shut down. Get out of our way. KFC's in our way on Erie. Get out of our way. Like, you just need to go. I'm done with them now. I'm done.
They're in a weird location. They should just, I don't know. But like,
Steve, have you had the glazed donut chicken sandwich?
Overrated.
Yeah.
He's already tried.
Yeah, overrated. It was ass. I don't even know if I can say it's overrated because I don't know if anyone liked it. It was greasy. Like I've ate a lot. I ate a 10-pound burger in Maryland. Like I've ate some crazy stuff, but that was the greasiest thing I've ever eaten in my life.
the only thing I would say Syracuse is actually missing would be a close Chick-fil-A. Like we have a Chick-fil-A like 20 minutes.
Yeah, but like
It's not that bad. And it's always
like I can go eat. I'd rather eat a Tully's chicken tender than a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Yeah, I just had Chick-fil-A like literally 20 minutes ago. We got it catered. And it's not comparable to Tully's. Like it's you love Chick-fil-A and then you go there and it's great, but when it comes to Tully's, there's no comparison.
But what I will say is I feel bad for all of our friends that live in the food desert of Jamesville. If you live in Crown Point, it's a whole day trip to get to Erie Boulevard. Pretty much. You can make a whole adventure out of it.
You better leave.
I feel
by
bad for
2, get back by 8 because it's.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
I mean, like Robbie T's.
Oh, Rustin's. We didn't even say Rustin's. Like
Rustin's is
classic.
Forever. Like the list goes forever. Rustin's is the only thing they really got right there, and Robbie T's.
Robbie T's has good wings.
Yeah, I don't go to Robbie T's.
Don't hype up Robbie T's.
Robbie's a great guy. Robbie's a great guy. He's done a lot for JD. Yeah. Big avid JD baseball, football, and basketball fan. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Ormond told me this my sophomore year. If you go to JD and you win a game, after the game, he'll give you free pizza. Like that's a nice hometown vibe thing to do.
Yeah,
so,
Little League baseball game.
No. He's like Robbie is the nicest guy on the planet.
Great guy, sick mustache.
And they have a lot of good like other food, but when Mario's is your main competition, and it's tough.
Oh, Mario's Pizza is phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, OIP's good. OIP is charred grilled wings. Those are really good.
Yeah, those are very good.
Throwback. You guys will remember this though. This is a big throwback. I don't know if all you guys remember this, but I think Gib will. And I think Shane will because you guys are closer. And I think I've gone with Gib before.
I know you're gonna say.
Do you guys remember Johnny's Pizza?
Yeah, where OIP is. Yeah.
That
It was 5 times better than OIP. I don't care what you say.
The pizza was.
You're right. It is better. It is 5 times better. And if that place didn't have 30 different like health like violations and like rats running all over the place, then they probably would have stayed open. But like
I like when someone said there was an OIP over by us, and I went over there and I was like, wait a second. I was like, wait, what happened to Johnny's? And they were like, oh, it closed. And I was like, when I was younger, it was one day of the week, it was Mario's, and then 3 or 4 days later, you'd get Johnny's.
Yeah, you get Johnny's. Yeah, it was a balance. So that's a throwback to the real OG Syracuse guys. They know about.
You don't know that. You're not from Syracuse. Like it's as clean cut as that.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of my friends at college
Alamode
would say, yeah.
Caleb Joseph, Shane.
Where you still live in Syracuse? We're right outside Syracuse. Like this, we are in DeWitt. It is not really Syracuse.
No, I'm from Syracuse, Tim. I am from Syracuse. I live in Syracuse. DeWitt, whatever. All right. I live about 5 minutes away from Syracuse University, and my grandma lives probably 15 minutes away, and she lives in actual Syracuse, but I'm closer to the university, and that is Syracuse, the university.
I'm a Syracuse address, and it's like I'm right on the border. Like my entire neighborhood, Syracuse, but it's like we're closer to Moses than we are like. But yeah.
Exactly, but what I'm saying is like all these places are within DeWitt, and so you can find more in Syracuse. Like this is like Tully's is.
Oh yeah. No, you're right about that.
That's what I was getting at.
100%. Yeah.
This is all DeWitt. We still have Syracuse. Armory Square didn't even name like every restaurant down there.
Yeah, I mean, if you go downtown Syracuse, there's plenty of like, all your bars and all that shit. That's all down there too. You get the bar food, bar pizza. Bar pizza is very good. If you haven't had it, you should try it. And no matter where you go, bar pizza tastes the same. But yeah, like Tim said, possibilities. I know Nick Mandelis. I don't know if he watches probably. He's a big possibilities guy. But Nick, I will take you to get. I could rattle off 20 Italian restaurants that have better food than Possibilities. And I love Possibilities spicy oil on anything I eat. I can eat it on anything. But if you want pasta, I will give you places that have better pasta. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Rico's is also decent Italian place.
Did they close? Isn't there something else where Rico's is now?
I thought there was 2.
There might be 2. I don't know. But I remember the Rico's.
I know one of them closed. I think there was another one like deeper, like more a little bit outside, more towards.
Yeah, there was Rico's where Strength and Motion used to be. Shout out CP. Shout out Mr. Parker. Wish you guys never got rid of Strength and Motion. The original one on near like Trappers.
Yeah.
That was the OG spot.
Yeah.
And I love that place.
No, that one's been gone. The other one, I'm talking about the other one, but yeah. Yeah, but the Syracuse food, man, it's like everyone's, we might have a better. Like, we're no fair weather people. We have tough weather, but we have great food. Like, you guys can live out in like California or your warm place.
You guys might have good like at one. You guys might be known for like one thing. Like Buffalo, you guys are a one-trick pony. Chicken wings, whatever. I can get a good chicken wing in Syracuse too. I don't need to go to Buffalo to get chicken. What else are you doing for me, Buffalo?
Well, all right. The wings in Buffalo are phenomenal. That's the one.
Yeah, no, I'm not. But I can get it. But chicken wings, like, they're hard to screw up. Like, I'm not. If like, it's one of those foods.
But like, yes, yeah, I agree. But like, the Buffalo wings hit different. Like, I was gonna say Varsity and Blarney are probably like 4 or 5. Anchor Bar is still my 2. Duff's is 1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I love wings, but yeah, no, you're not necessarily wrong.
This is the last thing I'll say before the podcast. In-N-Out is highly overrated, so I'm glad it is nowhere near the East Coast. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Oh yeah, shout out to all the hibachi restaurants out there. They're all great. No matter where you go, it's great. I just had to get that out there. Hibachi's probably my second favorite food. So shout out to all those people making fucking hibachi.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. We will be back soon. I don't know.
Still recording? Are we still on?
Yeah, we're still on.
I have a quick question for anyone. So at Mercy, they have a lot of like endless Chinese restaurants. It's not like a buffet. It's like a sushi place. It's like endless sushi and all that shit, but they have like endless hibachi too. If anyone knows of a place like that in Syracuse, please let me know. Like I need to know. Because I'd go to this one place at Mercy. I'd pay $25 and I would eat plates of hibachi steak and chicken and shrimp and rice and noodles. That's all I would eat. I don't want sushi. I want steak, chicken, rice, and noodles and shrimp. But someone, if you know, let me know, because that's actually, I've been looking for a place like that. I just can't find one.
Yes, do let us know. Let Kim know, especially.
Yeah. Real quick, shout out Denny's, open all night. Love hair in your food, place to go. Shout out Denny's.
Yes, that was the last place I went before quarantine started. Like, sat down and ate. So, I think that's gonna end it today. The draft is on Thursday. We're working on having fans on to react to the draft, so that will be our first podcast where it's gonna be, first off, unedited. Some of these are edited just for mic issues. That's gonna be fully unedited, 3 hours long. We're not sure if we're going to get as many views on it, but that's why we're trying to get a lot of fans and friends on it, so you can be on a podcast that will be uploaded to the YouTube channel. So once again, either text us or we will text you. It's going to be difficult. We don't want like 40 people on it because then you can't see everyone. We're going to try to limit it to about 16 to 20 people. So if we text you, you're on. If we're back tomorrow, it'll be a shorter episode before the draft. If not, we'll see you on draft day.
Shout out Tampa Bay signing Gronk. Big things happening down there. Shane even said he's taking the over now. So they're making moves. Tim, I saw your bet with Murphy. You're an idiot. The Buccaneers will easily win more games than the Colts. End the recording. Thank you.
I mean, I saw the Colts schedule look pretty easy, so peace.
Also,